Hi. Welcome, friends, to part 6 of Ghost of Tsushima with a Therapist. It has been my pleasure, my distinct pleasure, to play through this game, and I am honored that you... Jin, take a bow, buddy. Yes, Jin and I are appreciative that you have taken the time to watch through this series up until this point. I hope you continue to watch it. Thank you for all the kind words in the comments. You all have been very sweet to me. I appreciate it. To those of you that are hate watching me, I don't really understand you, but I do appreciate the engagement, so thanks for that too. Do follow the links in the description. Leave a comment and leave a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. All right, let's rock. I know the last episode was heavy. Be interesting to see if this one is also heavy. I'm guessing the majority of the game is pretty heavy. I kind of wish that I had like a hang glider like Aloy has. That would probably ruin some of the immersion. I do have a horse though. People are actually hate watching. Not on Ghost so far, but there are people that for whatever reason watch my playthroughs and every comment they make is just antagonistic. It's just like trying to like prove me wrong and tell me I'm an idiot and have a counterpoint for everything. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's totally a thing. That's a sign though that you're starting to make it as a YouTube creator, is when people start hate watching you. So I'm, you know, it's fine. Engage. I'll take it. Oh, what do we have here? Nobu. Oh, baby, one slash. Man, this dude's like lamenting the death of his grandpa at this gravesite, and then he just dies. Like, don't worry, Grandpa, I'll join you in a second. Oh, singing cricket. There we go. Ooh, what happens if you bow here? It's swarmed with butterflies. That's cool that they have that. A lot less creepy than the frogs.
Horse. Hiya.
All right, Adachi Estate. The outskirts of the Golden Forest.
Clan Adachi's estate. Lady Masako should be here. Lady Masako! Warriors of Clan Adachi! Is anyone here?
All right, we're going to do a quick refresher. Lady Masako and the women of Clan Adachi are warriors of great renown. If they survive the invasion, they can help me free Lord Shimura. I need to find Lady Masako and deliver news of her husband's death. It is difficult reading things that are Japanese with the emphasis on the first syllable versus when I speak English, and it's often on the second. Doing my best. We got a recruiter.
Lady Masako, it's Jin Sakai. Kill him!
Oh, hey guys. What's up?
Where's Lady Masako?
You guys just sitting there? How long do you think those guys were sitting there waiting for me? Okay. Why that?
Tell me where she is.
Where is Dr. Evil hiding?
Who were these men? Not Mongols, and not bandits. I need to find out what happened here. Someone forced their way in. This is awful.
Ooh.
A naginata, used by the women of Clan Adachi. They fought to defend their family. Ransacked, but no signs of violence. They were trying to escape, past the children through the window. If anyone survived, they may have fled on horseback. Better check the stables. Nothing back here.
I love the way that the wind blows when you need to like change direction or something during this. It's so awesome how you can integrate some like navigational help with the environment. It's like I love when developers think outside the box on stuff like that. Jin's like, I should check the stables, and you get a gust of wind that just gently takes you over to where the stables are. It's
Empty stables. Someone took the horses.
This is how you do it. Blood's dry. It's been here for a while, Jin. Or it's unseasonably dry here in Japan. Search the stables. Some linen.
Horse tracks. Someone fled the estate. They left a trail. Footprints. The rider was being chased.
Turn to the footprints. Oops. Follow the footprints. I was. Oh, they go this way.
Archers were hunting the rider. The rider was skilled, knew how to confuse their aim.
I mean, the woman we're trying to find is a badass, so this doesn't surprise me.
A fallen horse.
Oh, shit.
This horse belonged to Clan Adachi. Dead for days.
Oh!
Lady Masako, it's me.
Jin Sakai. They said no samurai escaped Komoda. My husband.
Lord Adachi died a warrior's death, defending our home.
Our home. Why have you come?
The Mongol Khan has captured Lord Shimura. If your clan joins me, we can save my uncle and avenge your men.
Clan Adachi is dead. Massacred by our own people.
Traitors. Why would they kill those who swore to protect them?
I intend to find out.
I'm coming with you.
No, do not set aside your concerns for mine.
The family of samurai are my concern. I know what it means to be the last of one's clan.
I cannot be responsible for your death.
You won't be.
Ride with me.
There's such a... I always have to be careful with how I talk about this, because I have a personal pet peeve against this kind of thing. So my own bias comes through sometimes when I talk about this, so I have to be mindful about it. When Jin says, basically, I'll help you out. Like, we'll figure this out together. I'll come with you. And she says, do not place my concerns above your own. It sounds relatively benign. It sounds like she's trying to take care of him, to unburden him. But I would make the argument that she's actually not respecting Jin's autonomy and ability to draw his own conclusion about what's important for him to do. There are a lot of people, I'm sure several of them watching this video, whether live or in the future, that have created a strong sense that they have to ensure that other people are not burdened by their presence. And sometimes that means that people just believe their presence itself is burdensome and thus withdraw out of some kind of warped sense that you're protecting the people around you by not telling them your problems or not asking them for help, or that even just wanting a degree of connection from them is problematic because they themselves, didn't necessarily come to that on their own volition, or maybe they did and you block it. You don't get to decide what is important to other people. Other people get to decide what is important to them. And if another person tells you, like, I'm down with being involved in this, like, you are not burdening me. I would like, if you are interested in having me involved in this series of events, I'm there. Jin is saying that he is ready to do that. He has weighed all of the things that he's dealing with right now and has decided that this is important to him for whatever reason. She would do much better to be curious about why he wants to be involved rather than immediately assume burdensomeness and get out in front of it by telling him not to worry about it. When in reality, it could be of huge, huge benefit to her to have him be involved. So if you're a person who tends to do this, stop getting in your own way. Stop making assumptions on behalf of other people. Stop making decisions about how people feel about you on their behalf. Instead, appreciate what they bring to the table. If somebody says, I'm willing to hang out, I want to hang out, I want to help, let them. Appreciate that that person has decided that you're worth it to them, rather than trying to counter it. Because in trying to consistently counter it, you will create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will become obnoxious. You will become burdensome, because it feels like at any given point in time, you're stripping my autonomy to say, I'm here. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to help. Now, if you don't want that person's help, that's an entirely different thing. If she was to say to Jin, I do not want you to help, I do not want you involved in this, and sets a boundary, that's fine. But telling him what he should or shouldn't worry about, creating a hierarchy of prioritization on his behalf, and then trying to stop him as a result of that, no, it's bullshit. Don't do that. The Tale of Lady Masako. What are your thoughts on Jin telling her husband died a warrior's death instead of what happened to him? I do not remember what happened to him. So I'm just as susceptible to whatever lie he told as she is. I don't remember. Like, if he died on the beach while we were storming the beach, I would imagine that would be considered a warrior's death. He's the one that got burned? Oh, that's a warrior's death. That's a warrior's death. He went down on the beach to challenge their guy, and their guy fought dirty. That's not his problem. He looked the guy in the eye. I don't think Jin's lying to her at all.
I fought men at your estate.
They were waiting to finish what they started. The night my husband and sons rode to face the Mongols. The assassins came to our home. My sister took the children and fled. I stayed with my sons' wives to fight our attackers. We were outnumbered. And then I was the only one left.
That's how it ended for me at Komoda.
For me, it wasn't over.
I would imagine that him saying that he died a warrior's death, that Jin telling her that, is probably, like, there's some history here. So, I would imagine that that's Jin using what he knows about her to know that she would appreciate hearing that. Like, this doesn't seem like it's him meeting her for the first time. At least as far as I can tell.
I buried them here with the rest of our family.
Honor the dead. Oh boy.
I tried to save them, but the assassins caught them on the road. Cut them down. My sister. My grandchildren. Even little Natsu. She was just born. All I could do was bury her with her mother.
This never should have happened.
My sister should have been buried with her husband in the north. But at least she's with family.
Oh man. What a cool, I mean, it's a cool moment for Jin to share in that reflection with her. And I don't have any like critique or criticism or anything about how she's processing that. I mean, she's just stating facts. It's terrible. Okay, so the killing of the newborn. I always find it fascinating that, I know we talked about a little bit of this with the animals, but I find it fascinating that people meet the death of a newborn or a child differently than the way that they meet the death of an adult. That somehow that newborn being killed is more abhorrent than the adult being killed. And I'm not trying to diminish the death of a newborn as being a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. But it's not more terrible than killing an adult. And I realize that this is going to maybe sound a bit weird when I say this, but I could make the argument, potentially, that killing the newborn or a child is merciful. In that, so what are you going to do? Kill the baby and child's parents and leave them out in the wilderness? Steal them and traumatize them by raising them in an environment that they didn't ask to be brought up in and are objectified in? Like, if you're gonna kill everybody, kill everybody. I mean, I guess unless you're gonna take them and then form them into Mongol soldiers, but is that fair? I mean, we get into a lot of existential stuff here. But yes, the whole thing, the moral of the story is the whole thing is terrible. The death of an adult is just as terrible as the death of a newborn. And we, for whatever reason, whether it's because we believe that an adult has more of an ability to protect themselves, that an adult shouldn't be in that position in the first place, whatever, we have a tendency to get quite cold and callous in the way that we handle adults. It's like when you reach 40 years old, all of a sudden, just who cares? Once you get old, we'll care again. But, some middle-aged dudes died on a beach. It was a good 45 years. Kill a 4-year-old, and it's like, oh my God. I think part of that is because we have a tendency to idealize the potential of children. We see adults as the culmination of whatever potential. Like, oh, that person works in the service industry. That's the best they could do as an adult. 4-year-old? That could have been the president. Right? Like, it's the unknown, I think, gives us more of a sensitivity to that type of thing. Thank you to those of you that work in the service industry, by the way. I'm not saying that to demean what you do. But that's how people conceptualize these things. So, this is one of those, it's like one of those things that I always find fascinating in how folks react to these types of things. Like, if you kill a 40-year-old, you've robbed them of a future too. So, we don't want to diminish how awful all of it is, because it's all terrible. And it all matters.
Come. We ride for the Golden Temple.
Like, I could make the argument that these adults were no more equipped to defend themselves. Like, why is a person's death more palatable if they had the ability to defend themselves? Like, that kind of gets into this guttural whole thing of like,
you endured this alone.
I am not alone. The killers are alive.
They will pay for what they did.
oh,
Every
that's
moment
bullshit.
The killers walk free. Brings me shame,
You can't blame yourself.
but it is my duty to punish them for it.
Well, no. You're making that decision. She doesn't have to do this. And I don't want to. I mean, this is a point I've belabored so many times before. She doesn't have to do this. It's not her duty. Her duty is not to avenge the death, or not is not to avenge the death of her loved ones. It's not to kill the people who killed it. That's not. There's no like omniscient duty that exists here. We love to get into the idea of some like kind of abstract idea that there's this, that everybody has duty and responsibility, et cetera, but she does not have to do this. This is how she's choosing to channel the pain and suffering that she's experiencing in response to the horrible thing that happened to her. Now, I hate that I couldn't stay silent there, as any of you who watch my Wolf Among Us playthrough will understand. I don't like Jin saying anything there. Just listen. Jin getting all up in arms and saying that we'll kill them all or whatever. We don't have to do that. Now, I'm not saying that killing them's not the right thing necessarily, but this idea that you have to do this out of a sense of duty, I think it's more important for her to engage with the fact of like, I'm not doing this out of a sense of duty. I'm doing this because this is what I want to do. I'm doing this because it matters to me. I believe that I will feel better if I do this. And I'm not here to determine whether she would or wouldn't feel better if she did that. Maybe she would. Maybe that's what she needs for the closure. But if it's not, and she's doing it not because that she believes that's what she needs, but because there's some sense of abstract duty to do it, she may be actually making decisions that are antithetical to her own health and well-being. And that's where we want to intercept that and maybe explore options. I usually agree there's always a choice. I've definitely taken that to heart. However, how do you reconcile that with people's culture? Because by her culture, she might actually be, or is internalized that she's part of her duty. So how do you reconcile that, especially just putting it down to choice, or she doesn't have to make? People choose to engage with the culture around them. Culture is not something that you just like catch like a disease. Culture is something that you actively participate in. Her wider culture could say that she has a duty to avenge the deaths of the people in her family, but she doesn't have to go with that. She doesn't have to agree with that. She could critically think about the culture that she's embedded in and weigh whatever consequences there are to not doing that. Now, even if they said, like, if you don't go avenge the death of your family, you'll go to jail or you'll be killed yourself, there's still a choice there. She could still decide, I'm not going to avenge their deaths and I'll take the jail time. So just because there's a particular culture that makes things more or less seem like the right decision, making the decision itself is still a choice. She is not forced to do anything by virtue of living on this island, like, or being embedded within this particular culture. She's choosing to engage with that sense of duty in the same way that Jin chooses to engage with his sense of duty as a samurai. Just because Jin was raised to be a samurai doesn't mean he has to continue to do that. Jin could build a boat in the middle of the night and paddle himself off the island and maybe find his way somewhere else and go be a farmer or something. So I realize that I get very absolutist with this, but it's really important to do because so many of us will default to shoulds and supposed tos in moments where we could actually make a critical decision that allows us to engage some degree of autonomy. I actually would argue that a significant amount of stress that people feel beyond just kind of the normal day-to-day stuff is when people do things because they think they're supposed to, not because it actually aligns with what they want. How many people in your life have you met that got married because they thought that's just what they were supposed to do, not because it was the right decision for their relationship? How many people do you know that have had children because they thought that was the next step in life's development when maybe that's not actually what they wanted? How many people do you know that follow a certain religious doctrine because that's something that they were exposed to and they haven't really taken time to critically think about what it was that they were exposed to? I mean, there's so many of these things that people do because they think that's what they're supposed to do. How many people have a wedding structured in a particular type of way because they think that's how it's supposed to go? So culture as an excuse for the negation of autonomy, I don't think actually has much of a place. If you personally, if you align with the culture that you're embedded in, if you believe on your own volition that I am going to avenge the deaths of my family because that's important to me and it just so happens to align with the culture that I'm embedded in, that's great. But she could also be in a culture that's incredibly pacifist and doesn't believe in that and then say, no, what matters to me is that these people die. Right? In which case we would look at that as being counteractive to the culture, and why isn't she following that? So if she turns away from killing these people here, maybe that doesn't align with what the general environment is, but in another culture that would be different. That's kind of the fun of the relativity of culture, is would you even be who you are if you grew up in a different culture? If I was born in China, would I have the same value sets, experiences, and stuff that I have right now? No. If I was born in Iran, would I have a different religious orientation? What would that mean for me? Like, our context is incredibly important, but it doesn't take away our ability to make decisions and choose things. And sometimes the other choice has a consequence that is not particularly great, that makes it very easy to see the choice as like, well, I'm going to do this because if I make the other choice, I mean, God. But what I find hilarious in this entire conversation is there is inevitably always somebody who will message in the comments or whatever and will tell me, no, Dr. Mick, you're wrong. Because if she doesn't choose to do this, then she would die. And literally, in your attempt to negate my point, you are articulating that there is a choice. So, like, it's important to engage with that. So important to engage with that. All right, keep it going. So, I'm not disagreeing with what she's doing right now. I just don't like the idea that you chalk it up to a sense of duty. And that's why I'm doing this, because that's just what I'm supposed to do. I don't know that that's what she's doing here, but I certainly would be mindful of that if I was, like, talking with her or working with her. I feel terribly for her that she had to go through what she had to go
You'll
through.
have to go in without me. Find the monk named Sogen and tell him the fate of Clan Adachi.
What are you plotting, Lady Masako?
Indulge a grieving widow. Once you've talked to Sogen, find the armorer. She is repairing something for me. I want you to have it.
I will do that. Thank you.
Ooh.
I will wait for you on the other side of the temple.
Ooh. Oh, whoa. Jack. Come on, man. Stop. Holy crap, I thought Jack just ended the recording. All he did was minimize OBS. He has an uncanny ability to step on the button or the thing that he shouldn't step on. It's true, birthday boy does what he wants.
You're
All right.
a true warrior.
Oh, thank you. Oh, we're back at the Golden Temple. Okay.
Lord Sakai, it is an honor.
Are you in charge here?
I think of myself as more of a servant, my lord. Please, call me Junshin. I made this temple a haven for our people.
I'll spread the word.
If they cannot make the journey, there are also camps around Ariake. I supply them with all the food I can spare.
That's good to know. I'm looking for one of your fellow monks, a man named Sogen.
I believe he is sweeping the temple deck.
Thank you, Junshin. Continue your good work.
First, I shall take my gifts.
I'm surprised the Mongols haven't destroyed any of the sword monuments. Nobody would dare destroy monuments to Lord Adachi. Here on Tsushima, sure. They don't know who he is.
Are you Sogen?
I am.
I am Sakai.
A samurai. Alive?
I have a message from Lady Masako. clan Adachi was attacked. She is the only survivor.
The Mongols.
Traitors. Our own people.
How horrible.
Has anyone suspicious passed through the temple? A group of armed men?
Not that I've seen, but my duties keep me far too busy. Please tell Lady Masako she's welcome to take refuge here.
Thank you for your time.
Of course.
I need to find the armorer.
It almost seems like he was sending me a coded message there.
I was just looking for food.
We are midway between Koryo and the mainland. We'll use Tsushima to stage more attacks. Control the sea. Not necessarily.
My armor will dull the Mongols' weapons.
Lady Masako sent me. Said you were repairing something she wanted me to have.
The armor. It's one of the finest sets I've ever worked with. Let me get it.
Samurai clan armor. Sturdy armor that once belonged to a son of Lady Masako. Ooh, I like that. I mean, I really like the traveler's attire. Reduces all damage by a moderate amount. Moderate increase to health. Taking damage grants 15% resolve. Oh, man, I'm such a sucker for the collecting of artifacts, though. Reduces all damage by a major amount. I'll deal with that later. Good. It's good armor.
It suits you perfectly, my lord. The quality is incomparable. It will serve you well, but if anything isn't to your liking, I can always make alterations. All I need are the right materials.
Thank you.
Armor like that will never fail you.
Hello, my lord. I was just remembering the words of my old master Saigyo. To cleanse the spirit, one must first cleanse the body.
Saigyo was a wise man who spent too much of his later years singing in the hot springs.
But surely you agree his words ring true. The healing waters, purifying steam, and shade from a red maple. Nothing beats a hot spring bath to steel your spirit for battle.
I suppose you're right. That's exactly what I need.
And he's like, dude, take a bath. You'll like it.
Allow me to keep your katana flat and sharp.
Ace Berry, thank you for the sub. Also, Right RL, thank you for the sub as well. Sorry, I missed that. Hey, where's she at?
You know about the samurai who's going around killing the enemy? My wife's brother.
If the stories are true, how could anyone survive the beach?
Do you think we're safe here?
Wait, where is she? Oh, she's out here. Ace Berry, thank you for the 10 gifted subs.
You got the armor.
It
It fits well.
It belonged to my eldest. Shigesato.
It is an honor. I spoke to the monk.
What did Sogen say?
He offers you refuge in the temple.
So my family's killers know where to find me. We need to move.
You think Sogen is behind the massacre?
He visited my home just before the assassins. The little bastard was their scout.
That doesn't prove his guilt.
No, but it earns my suspicion. Sogen arrived from Kamiagata at the beginning of autumn.
When we first heard the Mongols plan to invade.
The plot to destroy my clan took precision, planning.
And a war to cover the treachery.
Where is that monk?
Master Sogen, where can we go for food? I'm very hungry. It is not your hunger, but your attachment to food which makes you so. I haven't eaten in days. Ask Master Juice.
It is not your hunger, but your attachment to food that brings you discomfort? Yikes. Hey, here's a perfect time for me to get all, like, existential and philosophical while you're starving. Come on, dude.
There's Sogen, leaving in a hurry.
Let's follow the wolf to his den. We can get down here.
You sent me to frighten the monk.
I knew he would panic, make a mistake. Now he's leading us to his friends.
Stay close. We can't be seen.
Losing sight of your target. Oh, he's coming this way. Hopefully he's not very observant.
I wonder if anyone saw me leave.
He said out loud to himself. Whoa!
Did he see us?
I don't think so.
No, definitely didn't see
It's
us.
moving again.
Let's go.
Video games. Am I right?
Just deer.
That's it. Just deer. Nothing else.
Get out of sight.
The old inn.
Let's get closer.
This way.
Oh, guess we're fighting these guys?
Was that where?
No. Oh, whoops.
Masako's alive.
There we go.
She has a samurai with her. That must be who killed our men at the estate. You fools. Now they know I'm part of this. You have to find them. Keep your voice down. I'm going inside. Don't come back until they're dead.
Those men slaughtered my family. Spare the monk. The rest can die.
Okay, now we can kill him.
Draw your blades!
Okay.
I'll put that sword to good use after you're dead.
Oh shit. Alright. Holy shit. Alright. There we go. Alright, now I just gotta get focused here. There's a lot going on.
Sogen went inside the inn. Let's go.
Inside the inn. Here we go. Hello. Upstairs. Where are your stairs at? Ah, ladder. What's up, dude?
Nowhere to run, Sogen.
You destroyed Clan Adachi.
I was only a messenger.
For who?
Knowledge does not end suffering.
You know nothing of suffering.
Masako.
I buried my family, one by one. It took days. But I'm going to leave you for the wolves.
We need him alive to tell us who he serves.
Our world has changed. Men of vision must rise to face it. And those in the way must be removed.
They were children!
Masako!
He was never going to talk.
We still need information.
Ooh. All right. Ugh. Two things. First of all, when that guy says knowledge doesn't end suffering, that's a pretty interesting line. Because in some ways he's right and in some ways he's wrong. There is in therapy, I've had this conversation with so many like supervisees and consultants over the years. There is way too much of a premium put on Insight, where people believe that if they get all the insight they could have possibly asked for, that will facilitate change and make things better and all this stuff. No. Insight alone does not create change. In fact, sometimes you get to a point where insight becomes pretty useless, in the sense of, like, at some point it doesn't really matter why things happen the way that they did. It matters that they did happen, and now what are we going to do with it? So, in that regard, no. Her suffering, her sadness, her anger, all of that stuff is not going to go away just because he shares what he knows. He's not wrong. However, insight can also be a very large component of how people make more informed decisions about how they move forward from the thing that they got insight into. So perhaps getting information from him about why he did what he did and who pulled the trigger and all that sort of thing is what's going to give us more information about the wider context that all this was embedded in. And perhaps that helps us more effectively fine-tune the way that we choose to address this betrayal and all the other stuff that's going on. So he's right and he's wrong. Now, on one hand, I understand why she just did what she did. I understand why she killed him. All that pain, all the heartache, all the distress has all been located proximally into him. And the killing of him is a way to bring that to some sort of culmination of, it feels good to let it out. I've ended his life, eye for an eye. So I get it. I could make an argument that this is why having a samurai available in this moment would be more useful, because the samurai talk about how you do, well, they tell you basically to just stuff your emotions. But the healthy thing here is to acknowledge the anger and then do your best while angry. You can learn to do this. Do your best while angry to make a decision that's actually in the best interest of yourself and the people involved. I don't think Jin is wrong. I do think that getting information from that guy would be helpful. Could actually lead to an outcome that might even be more satisfying to her than what she just did. It doesn't just kill him. Perhaps we get insight into the system. And we can topple that system. I don't know, maybe we could even still kill him, but let's get the information we need from him first. So her anger being something that was so just intense, something that she wanted to get away from in some ways, led to her making a decision to kill him. And now we're going to have to deal with whatever the fallout from that is, some of that being a lack of information and insight that may have been helpful about making an informed decision about our next steps. I don't think there's a lot of utility to killing him right there. He's cornered. He's not dangerous. We can take him into custody, see what he gives us. And if at the end of the day, if we take him and detain him for 3 days and he's not giving us anything and he's steadfast, sure. Send her in there to kill him if that's what's going to feel better for her. But what I'm imagining may happen here, who knows? She may feel an immense amount of relief and it'd be totally fine. She also may now have this, like, it's like a pimple. It's like pressure, hurts. It pops. And then you go, oh shit, was it a good idea for me to pop that, or am I going to have a scar now? She may have that moment. In which case, then we know that it wasn't even necessarily the right decision for her.
There has to be something we can use. Search outside. I'll deal with things in here.
Yeah, I mean, look at her face.
Find me when you're done.
I don't think she's thrilled with the fact she made that decision. And that's the thing. That's where the whole, you know, eye for an eye thing, I think, has its limitations. Because killing him, even though it might feel good, it doesn't bring her family back. It doesn't actually rectify the situation in any kind of meaningful way outside the context of it felt really good to beat him up. There is utility to understanding your emotions and responding to them in a healthy way, beyond just that's what a therapist told you is a good idea to do.
They've run out of food. Must have been here a while. Spare weapons. They expected reinforcements.
By the way, thanks for being here. Appreciate that you guys watch my videos.
Payment for slaughtering children. Is that all their lives were worth? Names. And a symbol.
Sogen, Sadao, Mai, Kajiwara, Amura.
Masako might know them.
I was like, what the hell is that? I love it, the shadow. That's cool. I'll just leave that guy. I mean, I don't know that any wolves are going to come up here.
Did you find anything?
A list of names and a clan symbol.
I found the same symbol on these men. I've never seen it before.
A rival clan. Moving in to take control. We have to stop them.
I will.
You cannot do it alone. When my uncle hears of this, he will not rest until the traitors pay for what they did. Help me, and we will bring down everyone who hurt you.
Together. When you need help rescuing your uncle, I will be there.
Thank you, Lady Masako.
Until that time, I have work to do.
Okay. Tale of Lady Masako. Recruit Lady Masako. Done. Headman. Clan Adachi was betrayed by a conspiracy. Lady Masako lives only to destroy those responsible for her family's slaughter. Anyone who dares prey on a samurai family must be brought to justice, so I have agreed to join her hunt. Isn't it interesting, the levels of the society here? You basically have this like wide meta war where the entire island is under siege by the Mongols, and then you still have a bunch of infighting. Like, we all unite for the idea that we want to have the island, but then once we get the island from the Mongols, we're going to go ahead and continue to fight and kill each other. And I'm going to use this as a chance to talk about, like, clans and subgroups and in-group fighting and stuff. This feels like a really good time to go there. Because the clans are essentially synonymous with gangs. People often struggle with the idea, like, why do gangs exist? Why would you join a gang? They're dangerous, they're blah, blah, blah. We always have to remember, humans are animals. We are part of the animal kingdom. We are, other than having a really fancy schmancy prefrontal cortex and thumbs, we are not opposable thumbs. We are not wholly different from other animals, particularly mammals, that walk the planet. And as a result of that, we are relational and hierarchical in nature. And the reason that mammals, like humans, are relational is because relationship, numbers, force, broad spectrum of roles is akin to survival. So being part of a really large group, you know, we're Japanese, we're from the island of Tsushima, we're blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all well and good. But that's not necessarily the most survivable group, because there's so much deep variation within that group. So, like, from a sociological perspective, when you have this giant group, it means you have more variability, means that you have a wider spectrum of value, means that power is more likely to not necessarily fully align with what your specific needs as a person are. And that may mean that at some point the group is no longer akin to your survival. So what do people do? They create subgroups. In this case, clans. Sometimes it's built from family, sometimes it's built from chosen families, sometimes it's a hybrid. But the idea is, let's surround ourselves with as homogenous of a group as possible, with as many similar values as possible, where we have enough relationship and numbers that we can survive the environment, and there is less of a chance that the group is going to turn against any one individual because we share agenda and value. So now, if your group has an agenda or values that are different than mine, that means that no longer do we have a bunch of infighting. It means that we can us versus them you. We can categorize it. We can put it into our brain in more of a black and white thing and work with our schema, rather than get into the whole sociological nuance of the situation. And as you get more costs sunk into that, as your amount of representation of the world reduces, as the group that you are part of creates various narratives about the other groups that you may be more likely to believe or adopt as your own, because you believe, or you either don't have any other options, or you just, it's been framed in such a way that it sounds pretty good to you based on your lived experience. Now all of a sudden we have a bunch of in-group fighting, and then that gets back into the, intergroup fighting, and that gets us back to the objectification. Now all of a sudden these are the folks of Clan Adachi. These are not the individuals within it. No longer do we see ourselves as all from the island of Tsushima, which is under attack by the Mongols. It's, well, you know, Clan Adachi must survive. If the others don't necessarily, or whatever, then, you know, okay. But there's like a lack of unity as it relates to that. And then I'm sure the Mongols have clans too, but they could absolutely take advantage of all this intergroup fighting as a result of that. So this is why people get involved. They're survivable. They offer purpose, they offer role, and they offer things that are more specific than just some generalized sense of belonging. Like a person says, like, I'm an American. It's like, okay, cool, but like, what does that mean? If I say that I'm part of a very specific hockey team, that's a small group of individuals that are like-minded and are trying to survive the same thing and whatever, we feel more of an internal sense of purpose and belonging that cuts a lot deeper than just being part of a wider embedded system. So we engage in these subgroups as a result of that. And then there's hierarchy within all of that. So we can get very reductionist in that regard, but that's how these things work. That's what we're embedded in here. And it's fascinating to have this kind of, it's like, cool, yeah, we're all on the same page insofar as we're fighting the Mongols, but once the Mongols go away, screw you. You're a dick. All roads lead to survival, oftentimes. Why does this happen? Why do people do this? Why do they do that? Survival. Also, it only benefits people in positions of power at the meta level to have the intergroup fighting. Like, if you get your constituents hating each other, they don't push upwards. They push laterally. And then you maintain power. And this is why we always talk about systems as being embedded within other systems. Because then you can start to get to the root of the issue. You know, we're all well and good fighting for this island, but this island's not necessarily the greatest thing ever. The societal dynamics on this island may have all sorts of problems that we're going to get exposed to over the course of this playthrough, I'm sure. And that's not, there's no utopian society. Don't get me wrong here. That was an interesting series of events there. Oh yeah, always helpful to understand context. The more you understand context, the more informed you are about your decision making around things like this. Where are we going? Great game, man. There is such an incredible amount of richness just in the moment-to-moment stuff that happens. I quite appreciate that. We know, DrMick, this is why we've been clamoring for you to play this game for so long. Oh, this is like a laser. Let's go, Nobu. Little early morning traversal of the island on horseback.
Challenge me.
What's up, Mongols? Dun dun.
Can't wait to see you bleed. It's over for you.
Hell yeah. DrMick, for the love of God, spend your talent points. Okay. Perfect parry counterattacks have a 20% chance to terrify nearby enemies. Whoa. Attacks marked by blue glinting lines can be parried. I like that. Let's do that. Wow, charge into enemies while sprinting to knock them backwards. That's cool. Delayed quick. Dodge at the least possible moment to perform a deadly counterattack. Perform a jumping strike from your horse to tackle your enemy. Oh, come on. That's probably this one. All right. See, for these guys, like, I always think about it this way. So if they find out, like, let's say the Mongols find these guys dead in this camp, dead at my hands. It's like the message is going to make it back to Mongolia, and there's some person tending their home right now with their kids, and they're going to get a note that says, oh, by the way, while your significant other was on the island of Tsushima, they were brutally attacked at a camp. They were making s'mores and telling stories, and a samurai rode up to them and slashed their necks. And then somebody's going to have to hear that about a loved one, and is going to be just as incensed as we are whenever we hear that type of thing. Whole thing is terrible. Hi, Jack. Hey, he's just trying to cuddle with you. He's trying to cuddle with you. Be nice. Be nice. He's just trying to be a sweetie pie. Hey! Let your brother be a sweetie pie. Cats are so weird, man. Hero, what's the matter, buddy? Jack, let's give him some space. Let's give him some space. Hey. What are you, hungry? You gotta wait an hour. Alright, here we go. Let's get a little context for this. The woods near Kuta Farmstead have seen more Mongol patrols than usual, and there are whispers of merchants traveling the area safely. I need to find out what's happening in those woods. Alright, here we go.
We should run. Find a better place to hide.
We'd be like wounded deer to the Mongols.
This is all because of that iron mark.
We'll rest and go back for it. Samurai.
That's me.
What happened to you?
There's a merchant working with the Mongols. They gave him an iron mark. We tried to take it from him, but he had too many guards.
This iron mark must be worth a lot to risk your lives for it.
Whoever carries it is free to travel the roads without fear of being stopped by Mongols.
I could find a use for that.
You're welcome to it. We had to flee, but the merchant's cart is still up the road.
I'll look for this iron mark. Stay here and tend to your wounds.
So what, we're on the honor system? Hey, put this piece of iron on your chest. We won't attack you. It's cool. That's fine. So you don't have to. The moral of that story. See, it's not about the iron mark. It's about the choice. They don't have to do this. The Mongols, it's not an inevitability that the Mongols are hanging out here and killing everybody that comes across the road. They at any point in time could stop. You don't need a stupid piece of iron to make that happen. Why don't you just stop attacking people? You want to go send people in to attack the leader of the country because he did something wrong or whatever. That's fine. I'd love to watch the leader of Mongolia and the leader of the island punch each other and deal with it amongst themselves rather than throwing a bunch of drones at innocent people.
The Mongols will
There's a choice. And that iron mark is the physical representation of that choice.
That must be the merchant's cot.
Oof.
Mongols. They fought the men I spoke with. No sign of the merchant.
Just a bunch of dead dudes laying around.
The iron mark isn't here.
Oh!
Mongols.
Yo! Just took a fire arrow to the knee. God damn it. Yeah, you scared? Huh? Damn, these archers are so frustrating.
The Mongols may be searching for the men I met. I better warn them.
Back up the hill we go.
I'm too late.
Oh, jeez.
Please, my lord. You have to save the merchant with the iron mark. He's my brother.
Your brother?
I was stealing the mark to stop him from dishonoring his family.
If he agreed to help the Mongols, he deserves to die.
No, he's a good man. Please.
I can't promise his safety, but I'll try to find him.
Thank you.
I'm trying not to be too bothered by this, but I see that mentality as so limited and devoid of an empathic understanding of what it is like to be the Leif people on the island. Like when Jin's like, oh, if he helped the Mongols, then he deserves to die. I don't know, man. If somebody comes into my house and has a gun to my head and says, hey, DrMick, go have a conversation with my sister because she's struggling with her mental health. If you don't do that, I'm going to pull the trigger. And I go over to that person's house and I talk to their sister and give them some advice, and it's helpful in some kind of way, and I survive because of it. And it turns out that I did that for a gang that the police are actively after. Am I an asshole? I don't know, man. I'm just trying to survive. Like, I'm not a samurai. I'm not a person who can make that fight. I can't ward off somebody who's pointing a gun at my face in the same way these people couldn't ward off a bunch of Mongols coming in, shooting arrows at him and slashing him with katanas. So if his brother's like, yeah, I'll help. Holy shit, yeah, I'll totally help you guys out if it means I survive. I get it. Now, that's the benefit of the doubt view of this. If his brother is actively conspiring with the Mongols and putting other people in harm's way and stuff, that's an entirely different thing. But I do think that Jin would do well to understand and acknowledge that sometimes people are going to like work with the Mongols and do things because they're trying to survive an impossible situation. I want Jin to find empathy for that. That's really
them left tracks.
like you look at this space and go, "Ooh, yeah, man. If I had the ability to escape that, I probably would." What do you guys need? You need apples? Do you want me to make you a pie? Am I a traitor because I cooked the Mongols apple pie?
There, headed that way.
All right, track the Mongols. Traitor pie. Oh God, what have I done? What have I done? Wow, look at that field. Ha ha ha. Neat.
They turned off here.
Did they go into the neat field? They must have. Alright, up we go. Oh, there's a bear. Spooky. Oh, shit. Wow, what a shot. Alright, return to the tracks, huh? I'm so glad they decided to walk on this path instead of in the grass that would have concealed their footsteps. Very convenient. Oh, shit. Wait, where am I? Hi. Where? Oh, they turned up this way.
If they have the merchant, he's in there.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll go in the samurai way on this. Whoa, why didn't I dodge? This guy just not paying attention. These guys. Buddy. What's up, buddy?
You're going to be all right.
You saved my life. Thank you.
Save your thanks. Your brother told me you work for the Mongols.
They promised to protect my family and our sisters if I carried supplies for
And
them.
now your brother is dead. He led the men who tried to steal your iron mark.
No. Oh, that fool. No wonder the Mongols thought I betrayed them. I never had any iron mark. Besides, they're engraved with the bear's name.
So no one else can use them. You're free to go. If I hear you're working for the Mongols again...
They'd sooner kill me. And I cannot face my family after this. I have nothing. Nothing. What can I do now? What do I live for?
That's a pretty brutal question, buddy. Yeah. I do not have that answer for you. I will say that that guy's path to healing is going to involve being empathic and compassionate toward himself. You know, we spared him here, and he's going to go through an immense amount of pain, some of which is the consequence of his own actions, some of which is not. And approach the rest of your life with compassion. What'd you learn? Find yourself. Find your interests. Manage the pain. Long road ahead. Not an easy one. But he's got a chance here. I didn't kill him. I do appreciate that Jin has showed himself to be quite merciful to a lot of the folks that he's come across. I do wonder if that'll work to his detriment at some point. Trying to see what this anomaly is. Oh, a fox now. Yay. I ain't trying to fight bear, but I guess we're gonna have to. I'm following you, Fox. Let's go. What you got for me? Look at him climb. Listen to him make cute noises. Damn. You've unlocked a new charm slot. Hell yeah. Bet your ass I have. Ghost weapons deal 20% more damage. Damn. 15% chance for enemies. Yeah, let's go. Go with that. That's pretty sweet. All right. Perhaps we'll go look at that burning building in part 7. Friends, thank you so much for making the effort to come hang out and watch part 6. I hope you continue to enjoy this as much as I am. It's been an absolute pleasure using this game as an opportunity to talk about a whole broad spectrum of mental health stuff. So I appreciate you all immensely. I do hope you leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Continue to engage with this and other playthroughs. Tell your friends about it. Tell people about it. Spreading the word makes a huge difference. So this playthrough is quite popular, and I hope it continues to be. If you're binging, see you atop the hill in the next episode. If you're waiting for the next one to come out, I'll get it out as soon as I can. I appreciate you. You matter. I'll see you on the next one.